Hey guys, this is Kevin Mench here at Around the Diamond podcast, here at American Diamond Logistics with my co-host Steve Wineriter for another episode.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. We've got the co-founder and CEO of Lighthouse, Dr. Srijan Kumar. They have done a fantastic job for us, and I'm really excited to talk through Lighthouse and the automation on the accounting side that tool is handling for us, and it is really revolutionizing our accounting department and what we can do relative to speed, getting invoices out and freight bills approved. It's truly putting our team in a great position to be successful and create significant efficiency for that department. So I'm really excited to introduce our viewers to him. I think that product is going to be a household name in our space in a very short amount of time. They're doing fantastic things. So I'm really excited to have him on the show today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing how AI can really streamline everything and how it just, how this has become such a booming, what do you call it, industry, but however it relates to all this and what it can do for just businesses in general.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right, Kevin, I am very excited about the guest today. He is, like many of our guests, much smarter than we are, which I know is not saying very much. We're baseball guys. He got his PhD from the University of Maryland, did postdoctoral studies at Stanford. Among many accomplishments and experiences, he led an effort on text-based geolocation estimation, did fraud detection work at Carnegie Mellon University, led AI projects at Google, was a computer science professor at Georgia Tech. That was very impressive. Leading and managing a portfolio of more than 30 AI and generative AI projects. Not even sure what generative AI means. We'll have to ask him. He has built AI systems used in production at Meta, Wikipedia, and Home Depot. Has been building core AI models for over 14 years and written over 60 publications. His papers have been cited over 5,800 times. He has his work has been covered in documentaries, along with on CNN, in the Wall Street Journal, New York Magazine, and many more. So I am really excited to introduce Dr. Srijan Kumar. Hello, Srijan. How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on your show, Steve.
Absolutely. We're excited to have you. He's got a really interesting background, obviously super impressive. But Srijan, you mentioned that you grew up in India and your parents owned a brokerage. Is that correct?
Yeah, family has brokerages.
So do brokerages in India work similarly to the way they do here?
Similar and different. Mostly the job is the same, but in India, brokerages have to front money to the carriers. Unlike like in US, it's the factoring companies who are doing same day payments. In India, it's the brokerages who have that responsibility as well. So it's more, brokerages have to manage their cash more efficiently.
Right. So do your parents still own it, or how long did they
It
have
was
it
a long
for?
time ago.
Long time.
No, that was a long time ago. Yeah.
Very good. So I assume that that being around that gave you an opportunity to see behind the curtain, so to speak, relative to issues that 3PLs face. Did you notice issues across the board, or was accounting an area that really stood out to you as something that needed to be solved?
Yeah, great question. I think there are issues across the board, but I've beyond the Indian brokerage, I've helped a friend of mine in US who has a brokerage as well, as running his accounting department. and I lost a lot of my
Yeah,
hair
we all do. We all do.
doing,
Or it just
doing
goes gray
accounting,
like mine.
and saw all the problems firsthand. I was dealing it day in and day out. Payments were getting delayed because we weren't invoicing quickly enough. It was like several days or sometimes weeks after delivery that we were invoicing. And when we got to like LTL invoices, oh my god, that was like a hellhole
Yes. Yes.
for us to do.
Yes.
And mistakes were happening on the truckload side. We were paying the wrong factoring company. We were submitting invoices to the customers without having the right documentations, without like incomplete PODs or missing receipts. And as the company grew, we needed to hire and hire and hire more people. So before that, I'd been doing like 15 years of supply chain and AI projects, as you were mentioning, doing projects for Home Depot and others, and really saw an opportunity to bring AI into the back office. So 2.5 years ago, started Lighthouse with to build back office AI automation solutions built specifically for freight brokers. So, for those of you who are listening for the first time, Lighthouse is building freight native AI agents that essentially are your AI accounting assistants. They augment your accounting team, both on the accounts payables and receivables side, and help them move much faster by automating all the redundant grunt work. So all the paperwork processing, all the data entry, all the freight bill audits, all those get automated so that the humans are freed up to do what matters more, which is relationship building, identifying, like chasing, closing disputes, chasing cash flow, and really improving the crux of any freight brokerage, which is cash flow.
Right. Yeah, you're speaking my language. There's a lot that ADL is doing behind the scenes, and you and I have had several conversations about that. Specifically, maximizing automation across the life cycle, and that's really where ADL is headed. And I've been very impressed with what Lighthouse is doing for us, and I'm excited to get to that here in just a bit, because we're seeing a lot of success in our future relative to the accounting side of the fence is so bright. And what you said about letting AI do the work and letting the human beings concentrate on relationships is exactly what I preach to our team. And I think that's fascinating that he mentioned that, because I don't think I've mentioned that to him before. But what I am reiterating over and over to the ADL group is where we are going from an automation standpoint. And I mentioned full life cycle automation from the time a load gets entered into the system until Srijan's team takes the information and sends the invoice to the customer. We have automation built in throughout. And what that does is it allows the automation to handle transactions, and it allows the human beings to manage relationships. There are exceptions that the staff will have to get into, but the efficiency and the scale that you can accomplish through the use of maximizing these tools is amazing, and it puts brokerages in a position from an efficiency and a net EBITDA standpoint that I never thought possible. But before we get to some of that, Srijan, I'm curious, what drove you to be so interested in AI? What experiences did you have that drove you in that direction?
Great question. I have been in the AI space for more than 15 years now, way, way, way before it was cool and everyone was getting into it. I think I got interested primarily because of all the potential that was there, and I was seeing cool people doing it. As a younger kid, I wanted to do something interesting and cool that would have impact. And really saw opportunity in like understanding, doing data-driven decision making, and that's where it got started. So I spent several years learning and doing stuff on AI and machine learning. Then got a master's and PhD in computer science, specializing in big data analysis, machine learning, generative AI, and related topics. And then snowballed from there. Did many projects in supply chain and logistics and AI for various different companies and clients and so on.
It's fascinating because Srijan has done work in supply chain outside of just his work in AI. He's helped in supply chain solutions with Home Depot, among others. And I'm sure, Srijan, you have seen this space, and we've mentioned this on the show in previous episodes, is this industry has been so far behind relative to technology than other industries, and only until recently has it really started to really scale. And there's some fascinating technology that's coming up in this space now, finally. And American Diamond is at the forefront of maximizing the different tools, putting them into our TMS and massaging them in a way that benefits our model. And it's companies like Lighthouse that allow American Diamond to be at the forefront of the modern technology-centric 3PLs. And I'm so excited about where we're going with it and what all it can do. And I'm going to touch on that in a little bit, and because it's truly amazing what they're doing. Srijan, what was the driving factor for you when you were doing all the work with Google and some of those other folks? What was the driving factor that pushed you to start your own business?
I've always been interested in starting my own business. And, before starting my business, I wanted to get hands-on experience with pain points that I might be able to solve with AI and machine learning. And it naturally culminated where, with my friend's brokerage, where I was handling their accounting and all the other supply chain and logistics projects for Google, Home Depot, and others that I was doing, it eventually culminated into me starting my business. And really, the inflection point was really seeing the technology mature for us to be able to create these AI agents that are able to handle end-to-end workflows without any human touch. The previous generation of technology that's there can do really just bits and pieces of things. So let's take OCR, for example. OCR is optical character recognition, which is the traditional technology to extract information from PDFs. It works good when it's a PDF, but in logistics, as you and I know, it's a lot of images and poor snaps of pictures and handwritten notes and signatures and so on, which OCR is terrible at. And there was no way for OCR to mature enough to be able to solve that. But then came the wave of technology of vision language models, which is like a generative AI type of system, which we used and we fine-tuned on logistic documents to be able to do a great job in extracting everything from documents. That's one thing that makes it's a technological inflection point. And then the second was these AI agents can, as I mentioned, do end-to-end workflows. They can communicate with external parties. So let's say there's a dispute, then AI can actually do the back and forth communication, understand what the other party is saying in natural language, can draft emails, can understand emails, and handle the issue end-to-end. That is something that was not possible even 2 years ago. But again, the technology matured for us to be able to use that and help brokerages grow into the next technologically advanced industry and technologically advanced brokerage, to be able to scale without hiring, improve margins, and so on. So we really saw an opportunity for it to be the right time to be doing something, which is what we're doing with Lighthouse.
And that's a great point. So I don't know if I've mentioned to you, but we started down our own path trying to do something similar, and we had a fantastic development team, and unfortunately we didn't know what we didn't know, and we're not we weren't a good partner to get something like that off the ground. They're now handling a different development project for us, and I'm super excited about that we'll talk about in the future. But we tried, and it was very difficult. And one of the things that I'm curious about too, Srijan, is you mentioned that OCR technology. What happens in our space is there are millions of shippers out there, and each one of them, it's not like the bill of lading is a standard template, right? Everybody has their own template, and they tend to have data points all across the board relative to the template, and you may have something that the technology needs to read. Sometimes it may be on the upper right-hand corner of the page. It may be on the bottom left if you're looking for a signature. Sometimes the signature is was written in a pencil and it's real dull, and they're trying to use a carbon copy. And using a OCR probably made that even more difficult. Is that correct?
Yeah, OCR won't work on those.
Yeah. So I think a lot of companies tried to do that in the beginning, and then quickly realized that was an issue. But we see a number of different documentation when we get the paperwork from a carrier, and Srijan's team is able to scan that and then separate the documents into our system, and then the invoice will go out once they match the financials from the trucking company and what we're charging the customer. How long, Srijan, did it take you to perfect the scanning of all the different bill of ladings that you see?
So much time. I think that's the biggest crux of our solution, and we have spent months of effort just to perfect that, and it's still improving. Nothing's perfect. Like we still, the AI still makes mistakes, and we improve it whenever we identify it. We started with OCR just like you guys did, quickly realized it doesn't work. And the reason it doesn't work is because OCR really requires the layout to be standard, and there is no standard layout in logistics. Everyone has a different format of document. And it doesn't identify handwritten, let's say, notes of damages, or whether it's signature present or not, and so on. So we quickly realized OCR is not going to cut it. So then we started fine-tuning and using vision language models for data extraction. And then we trained it on millions and millions of data points over time to be able to improve. And now it's working really well. We make mistakes, but very rarely. And our end users have the ability to provide feedback. If there's any mistake, they're able to provide feedback right on the UI, which our AI system automatically takes into account to improve and not make the same mistake again. So it's able to really identify any sort of document, break it down, and then extract every piece of information that's there. So you're talking about scribbled notes written or numbers written on the top right and so on. It will extract each and every piece of information from it and then use it for decision making.
So you were talking about earlier of how it shortens the time buffer when things can get lost, right? But you said it was weeks to get some. You said talking about paperwork and having everything done. Now this stuff, it minimizes it to what? Days? Maybe less than that?
Yes, and sometimes it's instantaneous. So the backlog that American Diamond was facing is, we've had a significant amount of volume that we have scaled in the last several months, last year or so, and when accounting historically has done that, that can back them up significantly, right? And so it got to a point where we were focusing on getting the invoices out, and then we would go back and backdate the freight bills appropriately because the inbox was just.
So you're almost trying to play catch up with everything.
They were playing catch up, and they'd be here till 7, 8 o'clock at night. They were working on the weekends, and I was blessed to be introduced to Srijan. Mark Eichinger, my partner on the Navigator and Freight Tracer side. He and I have been talking through this concept for a while, and he had mentioned a while back that they were going to start looking for something, and he would update me when they found something, and we were on a road trip, and he called me and he said, "Hey, I just integrated with this tool called Lighthouse AI." He goes, I think it's what you're looking for. And he said that on their first day, that they had one lady in AR, one lady in AP. One of them was out, and the lady in AR was running both sides, and when they went live with Lighthouse, the very first day they had 100 freight bills come in, and 98 of them got processed perfectly, and the remaining 2 were minor issues that took 5 seconds to fix. That was the first day. That and when Mark told me that, I had been in discussions with other tools that I had been interviewing and trying to learn more about, and when Mark called me and gave me that information, it was a no-brainer. And Srijan, I don't know if you remember our first conversation, but I called him up, and he's talking to me about the tool, and I'm like, hey, I'm already sold, by the way. I probably shouldn't say that, but I'm sold on the tool, and we were off to the races, and it's been great. We built our own TMS, and we do things a little bit differently than some, and that's put some work on the development team with Srijan on evolving into how we do things on the accounting side in the TMS, and how we approve different transactions, and how the team goes about doing it. And Srijan, I have never worked with somebody that responds faster than what he does, especially on the development side. How many times, Srijan, in the last few weeks, it's late nights for me these days. I'm typically working till between 11 o'clock and 1 a.m.
When you're not on vacation?
When I'm not on vacation. Yeah. and somebody's got to do it. But I'll send him a Teams message, or I'll send him an email, and he's immediately responding. And when I was talking back and forth with him last night, I sent him an email. I don't know, it was probably well after 11 o'clock his time. No time, he responded, and I knew that was going to happen. I probably felt bad because I don't know if I'm waking him up. But I've never worked with somebody that responds faster. And when you're talking about development like this, that is so important to the success of our team, it really makes the process enjoyable, and you have a very high level of trust in working through migrating Lighthouse into Navigator, and it's been great. So Srijan, your team is fantastic, and I want all the viewers to know that, because we are experiencing it firsthand, and you guys are doing a fantastic job. Let me ask
I
you.
appreciate you saying that, and it's been great to work with you all as well. As you mentioned, you have a proprietary TMS, and with any new TMS that we have to integrate with, it takes effort and time and nuances that are there. So it's been great to work with Danai and Tiffany and PJ and others on the team to customize our solution to your specific SOPs. And that's really, I think, at the crux of our AI agents, that the technology that we have built is that the AI accounting agents that we're building, we have a general version, but then for each company that we work with, we customize it, we train it. Just like when you would hire a new accounting person, you would train them on what your SOP is, how you use the system, and so on. We train our AI to do the same thing. And the good thing is, once the AI agent is trained, it never leaves. It doesn't take vacation. It's working 24/7.
Yeah.
And
See, I love it.
it's working 24/7, and it's processing. It's doing things like in real time.
Yeah. So from an accounting perspective, right, and this really goes for all departments in a traditional brokerage. Anytime you have increased volume, you have to add staff to manage it, right? And essentially what we have with Lighthouse now is and we've started on the AR side. So he's processing the freight bills and separating the documents and then getting the invoice out, and then we're incorporating the LTL side of the fence, which I want to touch on as well. And then we're gonna automate the AP side, run an integration into QuickBooks. Which, speaking of, our team integrated Navigator into QuickBooks, but it was through a third party where you did a import export of some files, and it would update, and we'd do that once a day, but before the team went home. But having a live API connection is going to do wonders and going to save them literally probably an hour at the end of the day, not having to do that report. But I want to talk on the LTL side. How did you navigate the rebill situation that is really, I think, probably the biggest issue that 3PLs face relative to LTL. So what happens is when a 3PL like American Diamond has a customer come through, there are times when an LTL carrier will process the shipment and realize that the weight was different than what was entered. The class may be a little bit different, and that turns into a discrepancy where the bill that the carrier sends in is different than what the customer was quoted, and that always leads into a gray area, and there's always some push and pull between the 3PL and the LTL carrier and the client. So how did you navigate through some of that? Because we're excited that some of that could be automated as well.
Yep, absolutely. I think I built my muscle on that by losing a lot of hair.
Pulling your hair out.
Doing LTL. On the technology side at Lighthouse, what we have built is an end-to-end solution for in LTL disputes. So it starts all the way from paperwork indexing and audits. So it does the audit. It identifies at a line item level what the discrepancies, what the variances are. It will do variance management for you, and then it will file the disputes as well if there is something we can use to file the dispute if there's enough evidence. So let's say you get a bill with a lift gate or limited access or residential delivery charge that is not in the original code. What we would do is when the new bill comes, we'll first of all identify what the discrepancies are at a line item level. Let's say there's a $75 lift gate charge. We'll use some third-party APIs to validate whether lift gate charge should be present or not. And if it should not be present, that's an auto dispute to the carrier. On the other hand, if it should be present, if it's an acceptable charge, we can auto approve it. There's still no touch for the human, and the retrieval will be handled. That's one of the scenarios that we are able to do. The other is more complex, where we get like reweighs and reclasses and so on. So there's different agentic workflows that we build that involve validating the weight certificate or the inspection certificate, extracting information from it, and then re-rating it to make sure that the rates are applied correctly. And again, if it's correct, then approve. If not, dispute.
We're literally talking about hours and hours and hours that our team spends every week trying to go to bat for our clients and work through issues that we find that a charge was added to an invoice that shouldn't be on there. Sometimes they're valid, where a customer had the wrong class or the wrong weight. Sometimes it's a valid charge and everybody works through it and you move on. But the discrepancies and then the conversations that go back and forth between the 3PL and the carriers for the client, when Lighthouse solves that for us, we're literally taking probably 20 hours off of our accounting plate, divided among several different folks, including some folks in the LTL department that work through that too. I mean, Danae was working every Saturday for the last really probably couple years, just going back and spending Saturdays going back and getting those corrected and sending those invoices out and having her Saturdays back now has been great for her and again it's another testament to what Lighthouse is doing for us, and I'm so excited about what this means, and we can scale several times over before we have to add some more chairs in that department, and they're able to work through their day. And again, it kind of comes back to what I mentioned earlier. They're working through exceptions and building relationships with other accounting teams and their peers, working through challenges, building the relationship, and ultimately the relationships between those departments at that level drive stickiness between us and our clients, in a significant manner. And that would not be possible if we did not have Lighthouse. It wouldn't be possible. They would be buried every day from the time they walk in to the time they leave. They would be buried with volume and not be able to have time for those types of conversations, and the relationships would not be near what they are. So I think it's important for folks that are watching this to understand, the benefit of Lighthouse goes far beyond processing documentation at light speed, right? There's so much more benefit that comes to it from it than just simply what the tool does. So
that's the time is money, right? It takes
Absolutely.
The more time spent dealing with numbers is less time with the interaction of trying to create more revenue, more customers, more interactions, right? And it gives people probably better morale to be able to actually want to be out. They'd rather be out talking with a human being doing stuff, letting the AI side of it do the work.
Yeah.
And instead of instead of having to sit there crunching numbers, right, to be able to drive business, build it, and expand it. And it's it's like anything else you deal with. It's better for people. They'd rather do that than sit there, sit at a screen, look at a screen, be out and be up doing things.
Absolutely. Yeah, when they're when Tiffany is processing the exceptions on the Lighthouse dashboard, rather than going back and forth between her inbox and Navigator and back and forth, it makes life so much easier for her. And not only are we much more efficient, not only do we have better relationships, but our staff is happier.
Yeah.
They are in a better mood. It makes the culture better. It makes the environment better, and they come to work excited about their day, because they get to make a difference rather than trying to tread water all day. And we put a premium on the culture and the environment here. And we've always done a really good job of that. I think at times we've been better than others, but it's always been something that was a really unique priority for us. But you get to a point where you realize, and it takes having an honest look in the mirror, and you get to a point where you realize that there are things that we can do outside of our capability to help that, right? We don't have the skill set to build a lighthouse, and we're a confident group, and we're a group of folks that really like to build software, but we know we can't do that, and by integrating this. And by integrating the other tools that we're in the process of right now, it is literally taking our environment and our culture, which was already really, really good. This is the best team that we've ever had. It's the best cohesive team we've ever had, but it's going to take it to an even a higher level. And people feel like they come in and they make a difference during the day, and they're able to act with more confidence too. This is an environment and an industry where your confidence can go up and down. The industry is unrelenting, and I've talked to you about it before, where it's like it's almost like a playoff game every day, right? But these tools help mitigate that and put you in a position to be successful that you otherwise would struggle to get to.
Even with the business side of it, you talked about with Dr. K of how quickly he responds when something's needed, questions or something that goes on. It's sometimes you hear about people waiting. I have put in a call, waiting, and once again, that's the whole time is money thing, right? So he thinks, and that's good for business as well. Just that relationship you have, because people see that. What kind of relationship do you have with Lighthouse? What are they responsive? Are they active in getting things done, getting it back to you? And that's one thing you can take. Try. These guys. It's a trust factor, that knowing that he's going to be able to reply and get back to you with an answer. If he doesn't have the answer, I'm sure, Dr. K, right, you're going to sit there, you're going to find an answer and go, hey, I'm working on this, I'll get it back to you. But at least you have that connection, that interaction,
Absolutely.
knowing that he's working for your benefit as well as his own to make himself better and ADL better.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and we have not been the typical client, Dr. K, I would assume, right? Because our technology, we treat our approval process and accounting process a little bit different than
Slightly different
industry
than
standards,
others.
right? And so we've been a non-typical client for him, which means that takes up more of his developer's time, more of his time, and that has never gotten in the way of them responding. And I think that is as many development meetings. I've been working in software for over 10 years now, and thankfully I've been surrounded by folks that are extremely talented and extremely responsive. But when we have brought in other tools, when we've integrated with other tools, we have not gotten the response from others like we have with Srijan, and I think that's real. I think that's really important. But we're excited. We're excited about the future, Srijan. This is
Likewise.
going to be it's going to be a fun ride. We're interested in turning this. Like I said, we focused on the AR side right now with the truckload and LTL volume, but we're going to be turning this into full cycle to where it's doing the accounts payable. You do collections efforts too, right? Do you want to touch on that, Srijan?
Yeah, collections and cash application as well. So, depending if you have a lot of customers and you have lots of outstanding invoices, you probably have a collections team that's emailing your customers, getting statuses on overdue invoices and getting payments, like reminding them of payments and so on. A lot of that gets automated through our collections automation solution. And again, the humans are not doing the grunt work anymore. They are actually picking up the phone and calling them if needed. We don't do AI calls to customers. That is something that would be a bit weird. But we do automate. It becomes like a system of record for collections. That's one. And the second is cash application automation, which is when money gets into your bank account, doing three-way matching between your money, outstanding invoices, and remittance information, making sure that it's applied correctly so that the collections effort can be focused on correct overdue invoices as well. So again, the vision of Lighthouse is to build the entire AI-powered accounting operating system to automate as much as possible in the back office so that humans are able to focus more time on where they should rather than on grunt work, and really help improve the cash flow. So our customers that we are fully live with, they have been invoicing much faster, about 36% faster than without Lighthouse. They have been getting paid from their customers faster. So their DSO reduced by 5 days on average. And they have been able to scale without hiring. So about 40% in back office cost savings because you don't need as many chairs, as many heads doing the work.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, imagine, right? Our staff has to put together an aging report, so they got to pull it from QuickBooks, put it in the right format, attach it to an email, describe what they're looking for from the client, describe what they're sending, and they're having to do that. Our staff is sending hundreds of those every single day. Imagine one at a time. They're having to do that. Some they're working on, that are past due. Some that they're working on making sure that a client has received the invoices and that everything is good on their side. And with what Dr. K is describing is it goes back again to you let automation handle the transactions and the human beings handle the relationships, and it's so important. And you talk about getting paid faster. The 3PL model is like a turnstile when it comes to cash flow. Cash comes in and it goes right back out. It's just it's that constant.
Well, it goes out first and
churn.
then you get paid. So it's the other way around.
Right. Exactly. So it's such a huge piece to where what we are able to drive. From a a net margin perspective now is much better than I think 3PLs ever imagined, and that has the potential to lead to better rates with clients, because because your cost is your overhead is lower, and they get to invoice their clients faster too. So the entire cycle, when it comes to this, everybody in the supply chain benefits, and when everybody benefits, people buy into this really fast, and this is it's truly. I don't use this term lightly. It truly will revolutionize this space, and what companies are able to do, and what benefits they're able to provide. The client, their client, and also the carriers too. So we can't forget about them. They're as important of a piece of the puzzle as anything else. So everybody benefits. Mm-hmm. Srijan, what does the future of Lighthouse look like?
The future is very bright. I think we have been growing really rapidly over the last several months. Our customers have become our biggest advocates, which is really great to see.
Not all of them have podcasts, though, right? So we're your favorite.
Exactly. I think we are doubling down on our growth in the brokerage and 3PL space, focusing in the near term on truckload and LTL freight bill audits and accounts payables automation. And then eventually becoming the whole end-to-end solution for AP, AR, collections, everything, not just in freight, but for the broader industry and supply chain as well. That's like the long-term goal.
The future's bright. I know that. I know you're going to give me a hard time, but Srijan was here at our office a couple of weeks ago. I happened to be in the Bahamas at the time. But he's going to come back, and we're going to host some prospects that I'm sure he'll be working on, and we'll be a big advocate. Hopefully, I won't be on vacation. It's 50-50, but I'll make sure I'm here next time, Srijan.
It's a once-a-month thing with your vacations. So.
It is great to hang out with your team, but we're looking forward to seeing you in person soon as well.
Absolutely. Well, Srijan, thanks a lot for joining us today. Really appreciate your time. I really enjoy working with you. Your team is fantastic. You're fantastic, and I'm really excited and appreciative of the future with you and your team. We could not be more pleased and excited about where we're going with you. So buckle up. We're gonna have a good time.
Absolutely, it's been great to work with you all as well, and looking forward to deepening our relationship.